They say a man walks this earth thinking he is alive, but in truth he is nothing more than a shadow waiting to fade. Life is a fragile thread, snapping when least expected, and when it breaks, there is no warning, no mercy, only silence. This is a story of Captain Chibuzoro Keke, a soldier of the Eastern Battalion. He had seen death many times, but tonight it whispered his name louder than ever. Chibuzoro was not always a soldier. He was once a husband, a father, a man who laughed freely under the sun. He had a wife, Adanna, whose smile was his greatest victory, and a son, Ebuka, who dreamed of becoming a doctor. But war stole everything from him. When the conflict erupted, he was called to serve, leaving behind the warmth of home for the cold embrace of the battlefield. Now, standing in the middle of chaos, Chibuzoro knew one thing. Every man in war was already dead. They just didn't know when they would fall. The mission was clear: move into the enemy's stronghold before dawn and eliminate their leader. It was supposed to be swift, but war never followed plans. As Chibuzoro and his men advanced through the thick forest, a sudden explosion shook the ground beneath them. The night lit up with fire, bodies were flung in all directions. Chibuzoro hit the ground hard, his ears ringing. When he opened his eyes, half of his unit was gone, scattered like leaves in the wind. "Captain! Captain!" a voice called out. It was Sergeant Ifeanyi, his closest friend. Blood dripped from a wound on his forehead, but he was still standing. "We've been ambushed," Ifeanyi shouted, pulling Chibuzoro to his feet. The enemy surrounded them, shadows moving like ghosts in the night. Gunfire erupted. One by one, the enemy fell. Chibuzoro fought like a man who had nothing to lose, because he truly had nothing left. But as he turned to cover Ifeanyi, a bullet tore through his friend's chest. "No!" Chibuzoro roared, catching Ifeanyi as he collapsed. His hands trembled as he pressed them against the wound, but the blood wouldn't stop. Ifeanyi gasped, his eyes locking onto Chibuzoro's. "I don't want to die," Ifeanyi whispered, tears mixing with the dirt on his face. Chibuzoro felt something inside him break. "You're not gonna die! Stay with me!" But the light faded from Ifeanyi's eyes before he could say another word. Chibuzoro stood up, rage replacing grief. He fired until his gun clicked empty. He fought until his body screamed for rest, but their enemies were too many. A sharp pain shot through his side. He stumbled, blood pouring from the wound. He kept going. He had to survive. He had to return home. Then he saw something that made his heart stop. In the distance, standing among the enemy, was a face he knew too well. A face he had kissed 1,000 times, a face he had sworn to return to. Adanna, she was there, his wife, dressed in tattered clothes, her hands tied, her eyes filled with terror. The enemy had taken her. Chibuzoro moved towards her, but before he could take another step, bang! A single gunshot echoed in the night. Pain exploded in his chest. His legs gave way, and he fell to his knees. His hands clutched the wound, blood soaking through his uniform. His vision blurred. He tried to speak, to call her name, but no sound came out. As he lay on the cold, wet ground, he realized the truth. He had been dead from the moment he picked up a gun. Every man in war was a walking dead. Ebuka, who dreamed of becoming a doctor, no longer will, because war had stole everything from him. His dad, who had promised to sponsor him through all his academical life, didn't succeed in his mission. It was a sad end. Life is indeed very fragile. We make our plans and decisions daily, but then life happens. Thank you for staying till the end. Please subscribe, follow, like, and share for more videos. Feels Concept. Don't you forget.